A very good morning to everybody. It's very difficult to go after Mr. Nagesh because when I was growing up, and I told him he's a legend, no way to want, this is no attempt to make you feel aged, but it's the kind of wisdom that you brought to the retailing industry. And our first retail experience was invariably through one of the brands that you nurtured and built so beautifully. I'm also honored to share this forum with all of you who believe and who are working so passionately in this field of diversity, inclusion, and equity. When Sukanya called me up and said that, can we share what we do at Titan, I was stumped. I started my journey at Levers as a school. I always look back at Levers as the place that schooled me. And I look at Titan as a place that matured me. And both these places have at the heart of their existence a lot of humility, a lot of respect for people as individuals, whichever way, form, space, ethnicity, race, sort of personas that they come with. I started thinking what might be interesting to share from my perspective, and I felt the place that I gravitated most to was the fact that how Titan has benefited from this ideology of inclusivity, how Titan has thrived because of its diversity, and how Titan will foray ahead because of the mobilization of equity that Sukanya, Priya, and everybody in our system are doing. We as an organization are privileged because these are the ethos that are driving us. So I know you spoke about how we're giving livelihood to these people, but they are giving us a lot more than we can even anticipate. So like I'm a marketeer, I'm a storyteller, so I'm going to leverage some of my advertising to sort of give this story to you. This for me is a beautiful picture. And why is it beautiful? Because this is the first all-women's Tanishq store at the Ambience Mall in Gurugram. And this is not the first. There's one in Ahmednagar and there are many more coming. Why do we do this and what do these stores tell us? They said an all-woman store is just not a point of statement. It's also an acceptance of women as great people at service, women who understand consumer needs and they're able to service our customers with a lot more empathy and compassion. And they also understand the category even more. An equally successful picture is what's coming up. But I think this picture is embodiment of the fact that diversity is the art of thinking independently but seeing the results together. And I think we as an organization have seen tectonic shifts because of this and as tectonic as it can get. Each of these peaks have been achieved because someone brought their uniqueness. Someone felt inclusive enough to express themselves openly and therefore created a magic within their own circuit. So how has Titan thrived with this DEI sort of outlook to its existence? I think the first and the foremost is in the space of bringing fresher perspectives. When you have diversity, people come with different points of view. They come from different stories that they have lived. They come from differential life experiences. And when you put all of them together, you're able to create not a mono-linear point of view, but a richer, diverse points of view that have a lot of collective wisdom built into it. Let me take you through one of the things that sort of helped us do that. Will this play if I...
14 months at Life Bootcamp Corp. Never heard of that one.
Overnight, I had to fill in the position of a leader, train a complete newbie. Seniors naturally advice देते थे, पर खुद के decisions को trust करना सीखा.
Then why just 14 months?
अब मेरी team independently manage कर रही है. वैसे भी वहाँ से I'll never really go off duty.
I'm a little confused.
That's my teammate and my little trainee.
Radhika, you don't quite fit this position, right? You're ready for something bigger.
So this perspective of maternity break actually being a boot camp in leadership. We're able to bring an ecosystem together to raise a beautiful piece of God's creation. It takes a village to raise a child, and the mother who raises it, whatever break that ship might be on, 6 months, 1 year, 9 months, is baptism by fire when it comes to leadership. She learns how to multitask. She learns how to cope with conflicts. She creates an ecosystem with mother-in-law, mother, sister-in-law, maid, to make an organization at home. Now, a perspective like this wouldn't have come about if we were a monolith team with only one view, having been raised with one kind of ideology. It's because we have a team that has multiple people who have lived experiences, men, women, people with different outlook to gender fluidity, who came together to make this creativity happen. And this is just an example of how perspectives can really make an organization thrive. My second piece, second advantage, if I can call, of inclusion is that when you include people who are very different than you create chambers of vulnerability. You create avenues of openness. You allow yourself to say, I don't know this, but I will learn. You allow that person to feel included and accepted. And that vulnerability actually unleashes a very core and cardinal virtue in building brands and building organizations. And that is about being human. And I'll just again tell you one of the stories of how we embraced vulnerability and embraced this whole concept of don't put people on a pedestal. They are just as normal. They have good days and bad days.
इनसे मिलिए. She's a superwoman.
Yeah, Raji, the client meeting is at 3 o'clock. Have you uploaded the data? No, bye.
बाएं हाथ से ऑफिस चलाती हैं और दाएं हाथ से घर. ना वो अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन भूलती है, ना रिश्तेदारों के प्रेजेंस.
52nd birthday. नहीं 24 का पैक नहीं, 12
दिन के 24 घंटों में वो 30 घंटे का काम कर जाती है.
सब कर लेते हैं. उसके असिस्टेंट को बोलेंगे रोड पे क्या.
और दूसरों को हमेशा खुद से पहले रखती हैं. ओह सॉरी. ना वो थकती है, ना वो रुकती है. सब कर लेती है. हर मोमेंट में बस शाइन करती रहती है. I mean, she's like a...
बस भी करो.
क्या हुआ?
सांस तो ले लो.
पर तुम तो सुपर वुमन हो.
पर ह्यूमन भी तो हो ना. थकती हूँ, रुकती हूँ.
करो बेटा. आगे.
हाँ. हारती भी हूँ. ह्यूमन हूँ.
And as we brought in more people who were different than us into the team, we realized that, like all of us, they would have good days and they would have bad days, but it is about what they bring to the table as themselves. And we'll have to channelize our energies to take them through those days which are not so good. I think the third piece is when you have an organization that believes in diversity, inclusion, equity, you create a culture of unstereotyping things. Individual choices aid collective choices for organization. I know Mr. Nagesh spoke about a dream that he had, and today it's become the entire motto that Train and RAI will build together 1 million youths. Stories, changes begin with single individuals, but it is the collective responsibility of organizations, platforms to take that forward and build a culture that is not stereotypical, but creates innovative thinking. This is something that we did many years ago, but still feels so true of how we stereotype people.
Hi. How have you been?
बस वैसे ही जैसे तुमने छोड़ा था. And you are still not married.
काम से टाइम कहाँ मिलता है?
Of course. We could have made it work, you know. If you'd only quit working.
तुम भी तो क्विट कर सकते थे.
मेरी बात अलग है.
कैसे?
How can a man not work, yaar?
Actually, you're right, आकाश. तुम ना आज भी वैसे ही हो जैसे मैंने तुम्हें छोड़ा था. खुद से नया रिश्ता, टाइटन रागा.
And it's just not a story of a fancy woman sitting in a lounge. It's a story of each of my retail sales officers at each of our stores. They get married. They have to stay back to take care of children. They have to stay back to take care of elders in the house. We have a store in Srinagar where you're not allowed to work once you get married. Because why are you working? Doesn't your husband work enough for you to have a good life? So these are some of the biases that we as a retail ecosystem deal with every day. But it is surely, and kudos to the fierce resilience of these women who enjoy what they're doing. It's not always financial. Yes, it gives them economic independence, but it also gives them a huge source of identity, a huge way to channelize their social need and social enterprise, and they're absolutely fabulous in relationship building with customers. I lose customers when my retail sales officers shift stores. I lose a customer from this store to that store. So that's the kind of power these women have. And I must confess, a lot of my examples are about women and gender, but there is a lot more in this journey that we are undertaking. I hope next year we come back to you with more inclusive interventions that we have done. I think it also builds a culture of challenging the convention. And as an organization, when you bring in people who are diverse and who have their own very interesting and beautiful journeys, you create that sense of the ability to surmount and challenge things and challenge stereotypes. And this is something that sort of exemplifies this and what it did to us overall. I'll talk to you about that.
Hey, Dia.
आज से डैडी बुलाओ.
A wedding to remember. Tanishq.
So sitting today, this might not seem like a big deal at all, but this was a story we brought forth about a decade ago. And that's when we wanted to normalize remarriage in any form, factor, or style. What something like this does, it sends out a signal to people who want to be part of our ecosystem as employees. It sends out a signal to people who want to be our customers, our evangelists, and it creates an ecosystem of well-being more than anything else. And that's where it comes to that when you when you believe in something, you create brands that believe in the same, and you create narratives that believe in the same, you create a more connected enterprise, an enterprise where everybody feels they belong. And when people feel they belong, irrespective of who they are, they can create magic for the organization. So this is my last piece that I'm going to share.
The fact that I'm
beautiful
truly
piece of work.
myself. My curves.
Like, I always wanted to be unique and one in a billion.
Hey, I got the shine. Curvy bull, now it's the time. It's sparkly and so bright. Yeah, who, this is me. I'm a wordsmith, every word I state. Minds of my sisters, I elevate. Gotta celebrate, I'm everyday. We stack new thoughts, I'm up to date. Beauty comes in all forms, my ears are made for applause. Tonight, नादी गपशप, I can always hit pause. रंगीन बना दूं मैं दुनिया, बांटूं मैं इसमें खुशियाँ. Got love in my heart, I show with pride. My true colors, I never hide.
वैसे मेरे स्कूल में फाइटें वगैरह होती थी लड़कों से, वो भी.
Like a lioness, better duck, duck. Move to the rhythm, never ever get stuck. Kabhi left, तो कभी right. Who heavyweight, but I keep it light. Working mama, do it all with ease. Bloggers life rocking the scene. Multitask, मेरे vein में मेरे बाएं हाथ का खेल है. I got the shine, curvy bull, now it's the time. Sparkly and so bright. ये मैं हूँ, this is me. कदरात के जैसे मैं हूँ हसीन, live in the now, I do believe. एक फूल बन के ऐसे खिलो, खुद की राह में खुद चुनो.
I do everything. I do modeling, fashion show, and myself.
Got my feet on the ground, and my nose is a crown. जब बात हो business की, never back down. चमके ये ताज तो क्यों रुके आज? Curvy bold, shiny bright. Hey, I got the shine, curvy bold, now it's the time. Sparkly and so bright. ये मैं हूँ, this is me.
And you should see the Mia team that sits on the floor. They're as spunky, as sparkly, and as diverse as it can be. You cannot create something like this if you're not part of this ecosystem. So I want to leave with this one picture. This is my team, rather this is the Tanishq marketing team. Just as an example, it is diverse in terms of ethnicity, race, small towners, large towners, people who have come out of the closet, people who are sort of battling their own struggles in life. And this is a team that feels healthy, happy to discuss any kind of vulnerability. That is why they're able to put this magic out there. So I want to leave you with this thought. They are diverse in their creativity, inclusive in their empathy, and very mindful of where people come from and in terms of equity. Thank you so much for being such a patient audience.